there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If you are brand new, yay, I'm so glad you found me. I've been waiting for you. And if you're a returning subscriber, yay, thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. So as you know, I do movie reviews, and my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both sometimes watching a particular film. Now, I do feature films, and that's sort of my specialty, but I also do documentaries when I find them especially fascinating. And that is the case with today's movie review. So the film I'm reviewing is called Portrait of the Queen. This lovely documentary about the many photographs that were taken of Queen Elizabeth II is available on streaming on September 4th, 2023. As I mentioned, it's a documentary, so there isn't really a movie review grade. If there were, I would give it a G. It's very family friendly. It's an hour and 35 minutes, and the movie review mom grade I'm giving it is an A. I really enjoyed it. So let me give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked, things I didn't like, as well as tips for parents, themes worth talking about, some interesting lines, and some recommendations for some other films that are sort of similar but are feature films that I think that you're really going to like. All right, so let's dig in. In a nutshell, this fascinating documentary about Queen Elizabeth is based on the book, and let's see in my best Italian if I can tell you the name of the book because it's in Italian, Elisabetta II, Ritratto della Regina, de Paola Calvetti. Did that sound legit? Anyway, that was originally published by Mondadori or Mondadori. I can speak a tiny, tiny bit of Italian, and that's about it, only because it's similar to Spanish, and I speak Spanish. But actually, I think Italian is way cuter. For example, in Spanish, for the word for kitchen is la cocina, but the word in Italian is la cucina, and I just think that's super cute. Okay, total sidetrack there. The film was directed by Fabrizio Ferri, another Italian name. At the end of the movie, we can see these words on the screen, quote, "This film is dedicated to the memory of Her late Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II. And it's a lovely tribute indeed. She lived from April 21st, 1926 to September 8th, 2022. If you're intrigued at all by the British royal family, and especially by the Queen herself, I think you'll really enjoy this film, which is a beautiful tribute to an incredible woman who took her duty to country seriously as her gift to the people who loved her. So let me give you some tips for parents because I mentioned it is family friendly. I think kids are going to be bored, especially young kids, unless they're very interested in British royalty. There is no profanity, and there is really nothing offensive about this film at all, making it family friendly. Some of the themes that are illustrated are British royalty, of course, respect, photography, and the arts. Queen Elizabeth II, of course, memories and duty to God and country. So there were a lot of things I really liked about this film. For example, the documentary shows us so many wonderful images of the Queen over the span of her very long life. She is one of the most recognized women in the world and the most photographed woman in history. Her portraits have been taken ever since she was born in 1926, which is half of the time of the history of photography. Isn't that amazing? We also get to see a room filled with many documents about her in the archives and how truly her life has been documented from the very beginning. One of the photographers shared a story about when he got to film the Queen. In fact, a lot of the interviews are of these professional photographers. When he asked her to smile, she didn't move a muscle. So after asking 3 more times with blank stares from the Queen's public relations person whispered in the ear of the photographer, quote, The Queen doesn't smile on cue. She smiles when she wants to. And I thought that was interesting. It's really fun to hear the experiences from all of these photographers who had the privilege of being chosen to photograph her, and sometimes with her family and sometimes the extended family. The narrator is Charles Dance, who is famous for Game of Thrones. And he stated at the end of the movie, quote, "She has embraced the winds of change. She has inspired respect, admiration, affection, and for many, an enduring love. God bless you, ma'am." Hear, hear. I thought that was just so sweet. So keep watching during the final rolling credits for some more lovely imagery. Now, with all that being said, I was trying to think, is there anything I didn't like about the film? And not really, other than the only thing I could think of is there's this artsy fartsy element that I thought was just a bit odd. Charles Dance, as I mentioned, narrates the film, but we only see his floating head in a black backdrop, or in front of a black backdrop. And a select few photographers are interviewed with the same effect. And again, it's artsy fartsy and I guess photogenic. I don't know. It just seemed like this floating head, whereas the rest of the interview or interviews are just normal people talking about the Queen. Anyway, that's all I could think of. I really did enjoy the film. So I always take notes when I watch movies, and especially interesting lines or funny lines if there are any. Now, this is not a comedy at all. It's a straightforward documentary, and it's very respectful in tone. And so there aren't any funny lines, but I wrote down a few interesting lines, and you can see all of it on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, but I'll share some of them with you right now. So one is just a young man whom they interviewed, and he said, "I like to think of the Queen as part of the family." And over the course of the decades of her time as Queen, her image changed. Sometimes there was scrutiny, sometimes there was a great outpouring of love. But I think in the end, she absolutely won over the entire country and the rest of the world simply for her duty to country and how admirably she served as the Queen of England. So impressive. And then another line is spoken by another young woman that was sort of randomly interviewed, and it didn't say the name of any of these people, so I don't know who it was, but she said, "She's so famous, but none of us knows who she really is." And I think that that's part of the intrigue that these photographers were trying to capture is, who is she really? And so many of the portraits, or as they say in England, portrait, so many of the portraits were very official. And yet the photographers always spoke with such excitement when they were able to capture a candid shot that showed kind of the behind the scenes Queen Elizabeth II. And then they interviewed Isabella Rossellini, probably because she's an Italian actress and the film was made by an Italian director and all of that. But anyway, I thought her quote was really true. She said, "She infuses us with strength." And I 100% agree. So I was thinking about some other films that I could recommend that are sort of similar. Now, they're all feature films, not documentaries. But the first one is called The Queen with the fabulous Helen Mirren, who is such a legend and a national treasure for England. And she does such a respectful job of showing us a little bit of the Queen and her life. And I just thought it was such a great movie. Another one is the popular TV series, The Crown, which I thought was excellent. The first 2 seasons were outstanding and received much praise and many awards. And then the last 2 seasons also received great acclaim and some awards, but I didn't think they were quite as good as the first 2 seasons. That's my 2 cents. And then the last one is just a movie about her life called The Story of Queen Elizabeth II. So check those out. I think she will be remembered forever for the beautiful job that she did as queen. And she really did change with the times and yet still hold fast to those values that her ancestors bestowed upon her as the royal Queen of England. Anyway, I think that you'll enjoy this if you're at all interested in the British family and in her. So thank you so much for spending a few minutes watching. And when you get a minute, run over to Instagram and follow me there as Movie Review Mom, but also as Trina Boice. That's my name. And that's where I have my movie review stuff, but also you can learn about some of my books. And I almost every week I have some of my books going on Amazon for free, so you can snag copies of those. Anyway, have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.